Welcome back, everybody. We have just finished watching the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, and we are here to review it. If you don't know, I'm Bladen. That's Joe. We have committed ourselves to watching the entirety of the MCU in preparation for Avengers: Secret Wars, which will be the end of the MCU as we know it. That's pretty much all I have to say. I'm going to hand it over to my friend Joe. He's going to give you a quick rundown, synopsis, history of the film, and then we're going to get into the review.
Okay, so after the death of his mother and being kidnapped by Ravengers, Peter Quill is thrown across the universe into crazy adventures. He eventually comes across an Infinity Stone and has to deal with more than he bargained for. Guardians of the Galaxy premiered at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles on July 21st, 2014, and was theatrically released in the United States on August 1st. So, hot takes.
A lot of people say this is like their favorite MCU movie ever.
I think it's the lowest in Phase 2.
I don't think it's a top 10.
Yeah, no. Part of my hot takes was I don't think this is. I personally think out of all of Phase 2, this is the worst one. Not saying it's bad, but
I wouldn't go
it's
that
far.
The low.
Well, which one would you put from Phase 2? Like, we have Age of Ultron and Ant-Man left. Like, which one's better than, or which one's worse than Guardians?
I would say that this movie is better than Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, and that's pretty much it. So I wouldn't say it's the worst in Phase 2, but it's definitely not a top 10 in the entirety of the MCU, in my opinion.
The only I love Thor: The Dark World, but I could see a lot of people putting it above Iron Man 3, but I don't know. I think I'd rather watch Iron Man 3 again than watch Guardians again.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say that this is the least rewatchable MCU movie, and I do agree. I think that on a rewatch, the jokes don't hit as well. The soundtrack is that is one thing this movie has, a fantastic soundtrack, a lot of really good songs in it. But yeah, my hot take is I don't think this is top 10 MCU movie. A lot of people put it in
definitely not top 10.
A lot of people say it's their number one favorite, and I just don't see how.
Yeah, no. And the third one is like so much better than this. Like, the only thing that's not great about the third one is I don't like the way they did Gamora's character. Like, but we'll get into that when we get to that movie. Yep. But I mean, yeah, it's not a bad movie. But the hot take that I had written down was I absolutely hate the line "We are Groot." I can't stand it, especially like if you take it as the movie itself, if you take it as the lore, if you take it as everything, maybe you could make an argument like, oh, you're starting to understand Groot, but
yeah,
no, it doesn't even make sense that way.
Yeah, because isn't that the explanation at the end of Guardians 3 where it goes, I love you guys?
Yeah. It's like,
which I didn't personally like either.
Well, that one I have a lot less of a problem than with this one. Yeah, because you have that 3-movie build-up to that final line, whereas this one, it's like, it's not even like the last line of the movie or anything.
And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, if it was that context, then it's like, we're getting closer to Groot, and so now we're able to understand him like it is in Guardians Volume 3, then why would he be saying, we are Groot, and not just say something like, I love you guys?
Yeah,
like he doesn't even that. It just doesn't make sense, especially if the whole point of Groot and the way he speaks isn't that he's saying, I am Groot, and that's all he's saying. That's his language. Yeah. Those are the only words in his vocabulary that he knows and understands.
And then you also have things like Infinity War where Thor's like, oh yeah, no, I speak trees or whatever he says. And he's like, I know how to speak Groot's language. And it's like, so if Groot has the language that is a language, it means that everyone's just making things up.
Well, no, because we know that Quill has... Wait... Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Quill doesn't even understand him, and he literally has an implant that allows him to understand different languages.
Yeah.
I guess Rocket could understand him just based off of like
based
being
off of how
around him
long
for
he's
so
been
long.
with him. But then that puts credence towards the third movie, where it's like the more you get to know Groot, the more you can understand him, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's rough. And I mean, I guess you could argue like because it's a different Groot in Volume 2 to Volume 3,
Yeah,
like
because this is the death of Groot,
Yeah,
and
this
that is Groot Jr., I guess, or
yeah,
Groot's
something
son.
like that. But
I don't know.
it's confusing, complicated, and as things go, it's not set up well enough in this movie for it to be in this movie. Like if they could have had the same soundtrack, had him say "I am Groot," and it would have had the same emotional impact,
Yeah.
and would have been less problematic. Like,
Yep.
but yeah.
And I'm not saying that I don't like the movie.
Oh yeah, no,
because people are going to
I don't complain
misconstrue this
about.
and think that we're saying that this is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's a great movie, but it's just not as good as most people say it is.
It's not as well thought out. It's not as built up in the movie itself,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah. So going on to question 1, is it a good movie? Yeah,
it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. But see, the more I think about it, I think this movie goes further down my list. Like,
yeah, every time you watch it, it just slowly gets worse and worse.
Yeah, like the soundtrack is fantastic. The casting choices were perfect. Like, personally, I think the casting choices for everyone was great. Like Yondu, Peter Quill, Gamora.
Oh yeah, Vin Diesel.
Like, yeah. The only one I have a problem with is Drax, but that's mainly because of the comic book version of Drax, not so much.
The comic
as
version is
Dave
way
Bautista's. But like,
I love the comic version of Drax way more than I love the movie version.
Yeah,
and the movie version is only really there for comic relief.
And see, it's the same problem I have with Adam Warlock, where I loved Adam Warlock in the movie, but it's 100% not Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I liked him in Guardians 3, but it's not who the character should be.
Yeah,
so it should have been someone else.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Drax. Like, if you're going to call him Drax the Destroyer, you have to make him Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like,
I also wish that maybe we got a little bit more of a nod to these characters' comic book looks.
Yeah,
we'll wait to get into that until we
towards that
changing.
Yeah. Which is the next question. So
okay.
So if you could change things about this, would you? Yes,
I would
100%. I would change a lot of
make these characters look more like their comic counterparts. And I don't think you need to do it through the whole movie, but I think just like towards the end of the movie would work
Give
better.
them a little bit more.
And maybe change the
stuff.
Ravager colors to blue instead of red. I don't know why we switched out the blue for the red in the movie, because in the comics, the Ravagers are blue. And I think even later in the MCU,
in the third Guardians
in
movie.
the second one, no, when we see Sylvester
Stallone's group
I
has
think
blue.
I think they explain it like these are like
the different
factions of Ravagers, which does make sense.
Yeah.
But I would have much rather seen them rocking the blue like they did in the in Guardians Volume 3. And I think it would have been cool if at the end of the movie, like the very end where they get the new ship and everything, if we could have gotten them in their 100% comic accurate suits, like Gamora in the white, Peter in the blue, Drax could have had his purple cape as like a ceremonial thing.
Yeah.
You could have gotten
something from his culture or something. Like, and I agree, like there's a lot, and like I don't mind them changing his costume, but like to have like this big huge, almost the same size as the Hulk in the comics, and bright green guy, and then you're like, oh, let's make him gray and give him red tattoos, and it's like the only reason you know this is supposed to be Drax is because everyone calls him Drax. Like that's the only connection you can make between this character
version and
the comic version.
Also, I would have made the Nova Corps more like, I don't know why we had to take every character and be like, yeah, like the comics are cool and that's what we're gonna base it off of, but just get rid of everything from the comics.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna start here.
Yeah.
Like they completely changed the Nova Corps. They took away the Nova Corps' signature thing, which is their helmets. And
Well,
they
have
shit.
the helmets, but they're in the background.
They don't
And
do anything.
They're
just
none
regular,
of the people who are wearing the helmets do anything in
exactly.
the movie.
They're just regular helmets. It'd be like when you go to war here and you just put on a normal helmet. It's just to protect your head.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any special powers. It doesn't do anything. And that's such a waste. Because Nova is one of my favorite Marvel characters. He's such a fascinating, cool look at it's sort of like the Green Lantern Corps of Marvel. Yeah. And it should have been treated that way.
Well, when did Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie come out? 2012?
2012.
Yeah.
2011?
So
2012?
Green Lantern for Ryan Reynolds would have come out right as they were filming this.
Yeah.
Which is probably why the Nova Corps gets so nerfed in this movie. And I understand it, but at the same time, they could have done a lot more. Like, name drop one of the Nova members, like, because you have Sam Alexander, you have who's the first one?
Richard Rider.
Like, name Richard Rider in the movie.
Yeah.
Not even show an actor. Not even show an actor, but be like, hey, Mr. Rider or like Sergeant Rider or something. Like, give him a spot in the Nova Corps.
Or even maybe you could have hinted at his father, who I think it's Rex Rider. I could be wrong, but basically the whole origin of Richard Rider is that his father was a Nova Corps member, or maybe that's Sam Alexander, who I'm confusing with.
Maybe,
but either way, you could have gone either way,
and you could have easily tried to fit in more of the character Nova inside the Nova Corps, and not even as a problem with this movie specifically, but you could have led it into what happens in this movie to making a proper Nova, which I want to get into. We'll get into at a different point. But my biggest thing that I would change is I would have had, like, at the ending scene when they put the Power Stone in the case and they lock it up and everything, like, they should have been like, oh, begin experimentation immediately. Or something like that, where it shows, like, hey, we're going to use this for something. We're not just going to lock it away. Like, why would you do that when you know there's someone coming to try and destroy the universe? Like,
I have a whole pitch for a Nova movie that could have fit into the Infinity Saga, and a pitch for a Nova movie that could come out tomorrow and would work.
Yeah, and there's a lot not even wrong with this movie, but just like what comes from
what they
movie.
did to Nova in the MCU is directly because of this movie. And I think if this movie didn't treat the Nova Corps the way that it did, Nova would probably be like a top 5 MCU character.
Oh yeah, I 100%
because he has so much untapped potential.
Yeah, and like I didn't hate the designs of the Nova Corps in this, but like if they had gone more with that like proper helmet, like the smooth metal and everything.
The
helmets in the movie look more like Judge Dredd's helmet.
Exactly. And you even see like the pilots, they don't even wear helmets.
The pilots don't wear helmets, and it's like, of all the people you would have wearing helmets, you would have the people who are flying in combat wearing a helmet.
There's a way that you could have fixed all of our complaints, and you wouldn't even have to change the script. It would just be, instead of them flying ships, they're just flying people.
Yeah,
who are wearing the helmets, and the way that the fight could have gone exactly the same. Yeah. They all could have joined together still, and it would have been way more emotional. And it would have been, because they're not all like crammed in ships. They're like actually on the outside, like holding this thing together with their bodies. Yeah. It would have been a way better version of the story.
It would have been a cool thing to do, but
and this is a smaller nitpick because you don't know like Nova. Like,
I know a little, but not
making
a lot
Nova Prime an actual person.
Yes,
is such a horrible idea.
100% agree.
Because now, since you've made Nova Prime a person, either it's like the presidency where it can change from person to person, which takes out the whole like generational, like it's everyone combined, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and
especially if you read the comics.
Even if you do that with this movie, like you still could have done something better. But man, no. There's a lot of
problems. The thing that sucks is that the problems I have with this movie aren't even about the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and it's part of why I haven't watched Superman yet, is because of the way James Gunn treats lore.
Oh, no.
And like, I'm not even trying to say anything bad about Superman. I haven't watched the movie yet. Like, I'm not trying to say anything bad about that. But the way he treats lore is like, oh, you have a character named Drax? Well, this is my design for Drax. Like, and he doesn't even look at anything like that. And it's like, if you're going to take things from the comics, you have to at least know something about what you're taking.
And that's why I think that James Gunn is more of a DC person than Marvel.
Yes, because he probably does have more.
He talks about how he loves DC Comics all the time. And if you when you do watch Superman, all the problems you have with this movie,
we'll see.
They don't appear in Superman. It's a completely different like vibe, tone, story. It's completely different.
I'm sure it's got difference, but again, like,
and have you seen people complaining about the Supergirl trailer, saying it looks too much like Guardians of the Galaxy?
I haven't even watched it myself. So
really,
I think I watched like the first 2 seconds, and I was like, I haven't even watched Superman yet. Like, why am I watching this trailer? So I was
once you watch Superman and you watch the trailer, you will understand why people say that it looks like Guardians. But the thing is that James Gunn didn't write, direct, or do anything for that movie. So people who are saying that James Gunn is a one-trick pony and he only does these things,
that doesn't even mean that they're not trying to go for a Guardians.
No, I understand that,
because that might be what people are more complaining about.
But I'm just saying, if you're going to tell that story, why not have some iconography that people will understand? It's a way to bring Marvel fans over. It's a way to bring people who don't typically watch superhero stuff into the universe. And I think that's what they're doing for the Lantern show, which is a completely different subject we'll talk about some other time. Yeah,
maybe after the Avengers movie review, we'll do we'll talk a little bit more about like lanterns and stuff. So do you like when this was released timeline wise?
I'd say so. Yeah.
So we got Winter Soldier right before this, which
I think it
goes back to Grounded, and then you come.
I think it's a way to show people that there is a sort of variety for superhero films, which I think is what this film was going for. Because before this, we hadn't seen anything like this movie in the MCU before this.
For sure.
And I think that's really what James Gunn wanted to do. He just wanted to make a different movie. And I think he succeeded at that.
For sure.
In some places good, some places bad.
Yeah.
But what he was trying to accomplish, he definitely did. It's a way to bring us out of our universe.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at this point, we've got Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and S.H.I.E.L.D.
And obviously you have, like, Thor, who does do stuff like that. But
but not enough that... No, S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
I thought you said She-Hulk.
Technically, you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which didn't have Hawkeye and Natasha in it, but technically it was to bring in more connections. And up until Winter Soldier, like, that was the only real Marvel stuff we had for that. But, yeah, I think right after Winter Soldier, it was a good, like, slow down kind of thing, where it's like, for me personally, you had Thor: The Dark World, which I like a lot, and then you have Winter Soldier, which is best MCU movie, and then you have Guardians. So it like slows it back down a little bit, where it's like, okay, so now that we've had these high octane things, like
we're gonna give you a few new characters. We're gonna on the
slow down right before the next event,
and then we're gonna just show you some of the stuff we're planning. They obviously introduced the Infinity Stones. We see
a little bit more.
Yeah, we see the Tesseract. We see the Ether. So that those are confirmed.
He shows quite a few of the stones,
Infinity Stones.
He doesn't show the Mind Stone. He doesn't show obviously Vormir, because he doesn't know Vormir exists. Otherwise, he would have thrown something off there a million years ago.
Yeah.
And then and at that point he has the Reality Stone. So he knows that one's there.
And it even sets up for like the future of not even the MCU, but also just the Guardians universe. And obviously it brings some attention to Rocket, where he's talking about, I didn't want to be torn apart, put back together. Obviously foreshadowing for
P13
for volume 3. And then at the end of the movie, we find out that Peter Quill's dad isn't from Earth, and he's some sort of cosmic being, which sets up for volume 2. So
do they? No, they don't drop the name.
They don't drop
Celestial there,
Celestial, but they say he's something
they do drop
before.
Celestial earlier because when they go to nowhere, they're like
he doesn't say that's a Celestial though.
No. Gamora says it's the skull of a Celestial, and they
when they go to nowhere,
yeah. So you don't get that direct connection right then and there, but like they give you enough hints that like you could figure it out.
Yeah,
if you don't know the comics.
Piece of comic lore. Null, no, not Null. Is it Null? Or is it Gore?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Null's the one who decapitated the.
Oh, he's the one who decapitated Nowhere.
In comics, Null is the one who, with the.
That would make sense, because Gore the God Butcher is a little bit less focused on Celestials.
Yeah. So I think it is Null who decapitated Nowhere, and that's why his head's floating in space. So we could bring in the Tom Hardy movies.
Well, I mean, we will eventually because who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's some things to talk about there, but that's for down the road. So CGI, how do you think it holds up?
Really well. I don't think there were a few frames where it did look a little cartoonish, but I also think that helps the movie in showing that it's not grounded on Earth. Things can look weird and different because it's in outer space. I don't think there's one piece of CGI in this movie that takes me out of the movie.
For me, there's two specific things, and it's the turrets in the prison, which I mentioned while we were watching, and there's one character in the Ravagers who's like this blue-haired guy, and his head's like tilted and pulled back, and it looks so bad. And every time he was on screen, I was like, why? Like,
I thought it worked.
Just give someone like a prosthetic that like pulls back or something, and the guy has to like lean forward to actually see or something. Like something that's not so intense, but like
he's an alien.
I didn't think but like every time I saw him, it felt like I was just looking at someone who made something in like Blender or something. Like it didn't feel like I was looking at an alien character or something like that. It felt like I was just looking at CGI.
Yeah, I don't know.
It pulled me out.
It didn't bother me.
But yeah. Otherwise, Rocket and Groot, fantastic CGI. You mentioned it. You thought that Rocket looks better in this one than Guardians 3.
Absolutely.
Which, I mean, we'll have to get to Guardians 3.
Dirtier, if you know what I'm saying. He looks like.
I mean, that also makes sense. Too,
it
because
does.
He's more cleaned up in Guardians.
Yeah, 3. In Guardians 3, the fur doesn't really look like fur. It sort of just looks like mesh to me. This looks like an actual like animal, instead of like a cartoonish raccoon. That it does
I can see that.
Yeah,
but I think for the most part, the CGI is pretty good, aside from the turrets in the prison, which there's parts where it looks good, and then there's other parts where it's like you didn't need that many turrets. Like I know a lot of the prison system would be automated, but why is it flying turrets that are easily reachable by the people who are prisoners? Like, why isn't it guns from the ceiling where very few people will actually be able to get at them? Like, that's one of the problems I have with it. So, but at the same time, like, obviously, story-wise, they wanted to use them. So, I can't really blame it too much. But at the same time, like, you can make it make sense. And
just
also,
make it make sense.
You can make it make sense, and you can also make it good. Like, but no, it's not the worst. Any other CGI parts?
I don't really have anything. Every shot we get of just outer space looks dope.
Yes, the outer space shots are really good.
The one shot where it's like a long shot and it like flies past like 2 suns, and then a moon, and then it's onto the planet. That looks so cool.
Yeah. There's quite a few spots that I really like, and one that feels like what they were trying to go for in the first Avengers, the first Avenger, Captain America movie, where you had the flashbacks of Red Skull, and I feel like comparing that to the Take My Hand scene at the end of the movie, I think that's kind of what they were trying to go for in the first Avenger movie, and then they actually did it, and it felt proper in this movie where Gamora's calling out to Peter and everything, and then you see the flashback to his mom, and then like you have all the like
the
weird
galaxy stuff
space
behind
background, like the volcano planet and stuff, and then like everything's just going crazy in his mind, and as soon as he touches her hand, it's back to reality.
Yep.
Like that part I really liked, and honestly, I think it was one of the better scenes to compare the CGI with. But yeah, so not bad. And then characters. Do you think the characters were consistent through the movie?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone
obviously
everyone had an arc in this movie. Everybody grew and developed, and they all stayed pretty consistent with what that development would look like. Obviously, Quill going from just
Ravager, thief,
space whore,
space rogue,
yeah, to like loving Gamora and being selfless and ready to sacrifice his life for her in space.
I don't know if I'd call Peter Quill a hero at this point.
No, he's
probably closer to anti-hero than hero at this point.
And then we see Drax grow into like not just searching for vengeance.
Yeah,
we see Rocket be able to accept others. One of my favorite scenes is where Drax pets Rocket and he just lets him.
Yeah.
Groot dies.
Yeah.
And Gamora
can't really talk about his
like
character,
a murderous psychopath.
And it's things that I'll bring up later, because the things that come up in Guardians 3 and in the end of Endgame with Gamora, I have a lot of problems with. And it frustrates me to no end, and
they should have just left her dead.
They either should have left her dead or actually found a way to bring her back properly. But at the same time, and I'm only going to go slightly into this, in this movie, they literally have a line where she's like, once I saw that Thanos was going to destroy this planet, like, I switched sides. And this is before she meets Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that. She's like, I've already switched sides. And then Guardians 3, it's like, oh, he's destroyed like 18 planets already, but I'm still hunting. It's like, what? No, you're not. You're not on his side anymore. You shouldn't be on his side where you are in the story. Like,
yep.
But yeah, just quick tangent there of things that I'm going to go much deeper into later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so end cutscene. Yeah, Baby Groot's technically first appearance, dancing and hiding from Drax.
I always thought that was funny.
Adds absolutely nothing to the story.
No.
People have tried to be like, this is why Drax thinks he's invisible when he stands still, because every time he looks at Groot, like the stick Groot, like, and I'm like, that's the weirdest connection you could possibly make. But I have heard that connection before, and I'm like, I guess it's not impossible to make that connection, but like, it's still a leap. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way. Yeah. Then the Collector and Howard the Duck.
And we see Cosmo.
Oh, and Cosmo. But Cosmo was already in the movie itself, so Howard the Duck didn't show up until the end credit scene. So he gets a little bit more of a spotlight in this section. But yeah, so the end credit scene, weakest out of the MCU.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything.
Like, there's nothing.
Which I think is fine.
It's fine. No,
it doesn't
it's
have
fine
to like set things up for the next movie, which I hope is what they do for the DC universe, where it's not like every movie has to have an end credit scene that sets up the next movie. It can just be like a little cap off for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But if we're comparing it to the other ones where it does set up the future of the MCU, it is the weakest.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad
and I mean,
end
the whole
scene,
question that we've been asking so far is, does the end credit scene add anything?
Yeah.
And these ones didn't add anything.
I mean,
they're fine enough, but they didn't add anything.
I guess it sets up Howard the Duck to show up in Endgame and Cosmo
to show up
be a
for
member
2 seconds.
I guess. I don't know. Doesn't he show up in Volume 2?
Yes. No, he doesn't show up in Volume 2. He shows up in Volume 3. He's playing cards with Kraglin and them in Volume 3.
Yeah.
But I don't think they show him in 2 because they don't really go to nowhere in 2. So,
yeah.
But okay, so ranking this movie.
I gotta grab my laptop.
Grab your laptop.
Got it.
Okay, so
you want me to read off our current rankings, or do you want me to? We'll just rank them now, or
so. Personally, I think this movie would be high C for me.
High C.
Yeah.
So above the Incredible Hulk, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not letting you get away with that one.
You want to put it higher than that?
I would put it mid B.
Mid B?
I'd put
so
it
above,
just below Thor.
just below the first Thor?
Yes. So the things that will be behind it are Iron Man 3, Iron Man 2, Thor the Dark World, and the Incredible Hulk.
Here, let me see. If it'll load.
Yep. So right here. Mid B.
See, and this is where we already disagree, but I personally would rather watch all of these B movies before I watch Guardians again. And that's why I can give you B, but it's going to be low B.
I'm not letting you put it below Dark World.
You want to put it above Dark World.
It's better than Dark World. I know you love that movie, but it's better than Dark World. Come on.
Fine. I'll let you put it above Dark World.
Okay.
We should do a gauntlet thing where if I have one that I really hate and you really love, I can throw a gauntlet and I can put it wherever I want. But then
maybe we'll have one of those once a phase.
Once a phase? Well, then I'm throwing it now because I think the next two movies we're gonna agree on.
You're really gonna put it in C? You're gonna put Guardians of the Galaxy
high C.
The only thing below it's Incredible Hulk.
I mean, at this point, looking at the movies we have so far, yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. C is still a decent movie. But personally,
so you're putting it in C?
No, you can leave it at low B.
All right,
you can leave it at low B. But
because
personally,
because I'll let you do it if you want to throw your gauntlet now, but you're going to be very upset at me when we get to our TASM 2 review.
You're not allowed to put that in S rank. It's not going. No freaking way. You can throw my gauntlet. TASM 2.
If I throw my gauntlet,
I didn't throw a gauntlet. I didn't
say you threw a gauntlet, but if we're doing the gauntlet thing, TASM 2 is going to be ranked high.
Yeah, right? It's that alone makes me think that we're not doing a gauntlet ever.
You throw a gauntlet once. Just saying that's what's going to happen in TASM 2.
See, I can give it that. It's not so far up that I completely disagree with. But for me personally, yeah, I think Thor the Dark World is a better movie and more rewatchable.
All right, so currently, the only thing that is worse than Guardians is the Incredible Hulk that we have watched.
Did you leave it below Thor the Dark World?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were still going to put it above.
It's high C.
Okay. So you did put it there, even without me throwing a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an agreed upon thing right there. Okay. Right. It's high C, and that's where it sits.
Yeah.
Okay. So, final thoughts on this movie.
It's good.
I think
it's an enjoyable watch.
Yes, for sure. And don't get me wrong. If you're watching the MCU, I wouldn't say skip it. At any point, I would have said skip the Incredible Hulk. You could do that, but I wouldn't say skip this one.
It's very important for the MCU. It sets up a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a good watch. It's fun.
Yeah.
That's the best I can say about
there's
this movie.
Things that
fun.
There's movies that come up that oh yeah, this is technically important to the story, but I would still skip that movie when I rewatch the MCU because
I wouldn't skip it.
No, I'm not saying that about this one. I'm saying that about some that are coming.
Oh yeah.
Not gonna reveal which ones yet because you guys gotta watch to see which ones those are.
We're gonna get canceled before we even take off.
Okay. Character introductions, I think were handled really well in this movie.
Oh yeah, the introduction to Peter Quill is in my top 20 favorite Marvel openings.
Yeah,
it's really good.
See, I rewatched not the whole Shang-Chi movie, but the introduction to Shang-Chi's character, and I was like, that's one of the worst introductions to a Marvel character ever.
Really
it's
we're not getting
but just to compare it, this great character introduction, and it sets up technically 4 characters because Drax doesn't really get his own introduction.
Well, he does. We see him.
We
see him through the cell.
You see him through the cell, and then he gets kind of an introduction when he's.
He has the weakest introduction.
But the other 4 have really solid.
And then we get the whole scene where they're all fighting each other, and
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they could have even been like, "Oh, look, Drax is just jumping into a brawl because he sees people fighting," and that would have been a better introduction than the prison scene, in my opinion. Like, that would have been hilarious. Are you kidding me? That would have been so funny. He's like, "No, there's people fighting over there. I'm in on this," and he tackles Groot or something. Like, that would have been so funny.
No, I just realized that the next movie that we're gonna watch is Age of Ultron, and people are gonna be pissed that we put this movie so low when I know where I'm ranking Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that might be the one that gets us in the most trouble, but we'll see. We'll see.
I feel like there's one that's gonna get us in a lot.
Oh yeah,
trouble.
no, there's ones that'll definitely get in trouble, but
Yep.
I'm saying Age of Ultron might be our first one to get us into trouble with people. But
Yep.
That's for next week, not for this week. But yeah, the Thanos' lines in this movie.
Oh,
Thanos' role in this movie is perfect. In my
it's the first appearance
opinion.
of Josh Brolin as Thanos,
and the first scene where he's talking to Ronan, and he's sitting on the chair, and Ronan kills the speaker for him, and he's like, "Well, you killed my guy," and he's like, "I'm going to threaten you. I'm going to tell you if you do anything out of line, I'm going to personally come down and kill you," and like all this stuff, and like you feel that intimidation building, and it's like, ooh, it's so good. Like,
best Thanos design, best shade of purple, most comic accurate.
I personally like the darker purple from the credit scene.
I like the lighter,
but yeah, I mean, overall, probably his best design, and it feels more comic accurate, where he's like, "Oh, I don't have to do anything but sit here, and I can do whatever I want," kind of thing. Like, I'm just sitting here on the chair, and people complain about that. They're like, "He sits for 2 phases of the MCU," and it's like, yeah, because he literally doesn't have to do anything else because he is that strong. Like, but yeah, no. I feel like the Collector is more evil than Thanos in this movie, though. Like, think of the first scene that you have with the Collector, and you have the girl who's scrubbing the thing, and he's like, "Your people have elbows. You know how to use them." And then he's like, "You know what happens to servants who don't," and he's like treating her awful and stuff. And then it shows the servant who's literally not only in a cage, but also in like an electrical harness to punish her if she gets out of line. Like, I'm not saying he's more evil than Thanos overall. I'm just saying, like, in this movie,
he does more evil.
He does more evil than Thanos. Like, he's not a great character, and I feel like the later movies.
I wish we had seen the Collector's brother. In the MCU, that would.
Well, I mean, kind of through Grandmaster for Ragnarok.
Yeah, but
it's not really his brother, but I think they do make mention of them being related in the MCU. I think it's like a passing line where Jeff Goldblum's like, "My brother," and it's like, but you're definitely not the Grandmaster, so you can't say that.
You know, my brother.
My brother. I like Jeff Goldblum. I don't like him as the Grandmaster.
I don't like him. I think he's fine.
He's fine, but it's like
all his roles just get really annoying to me. Like, I watched Jurassic Park for the first time, and I was like, he's annoying.
He's annoying, but in a more endearing way in Jurassic Park, whereas I feel like a lot of his movies, he's more annoying than endearing. Whereas Jurassic Park, he's actually endearing because he's not just being annoying. He's actually giving, like,
I will say, Jeff Goldblum is better than Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Way less annoying than Taika Waititi.
Yes.
If you ever
and we'll get to that point. Anyways, we're going off. We're going off.
Sorry.
But one complaint I did have about this movie before we finish up is the final fight of the space battle above Xandar. And you have all these ships that they've shown can shoot and have been shooting quite a bit. And then suddenly Ronan's like, "Dive bomb the city." And then all of a sudden it's just like, why are we doing this? And all the ships just start flying into the ground. And it's like, why? You would do much more damage if you're shooting the city. Like,
the thing that they wanted to do is draw the Nova pilots away from that. If they just started shooting,
But there's
They
so
would-
many better ways to
No,
do it.
but-
Like, literally, spread out and start shooting everywhere around except where I'm coming down. And literally, the Nova Corps has no choice but to do it, because otherwise, they're not able to save the planet. Like, they have to trust in Quill at that point.
I guess.
And it's like, the worst option is, oh, I'm going to just tell all my soldiers to
yeah,
kill
but
themselves.
it's also like Ronan doesn't care.
He
and at this
doesn't?
point, he thinks he's all powerful.
he doesn't.
So he's
but
like,
his
why would I
soldiers
need them?
still
Just-
do?
Yeah, because
his soldiers still would. His soldiers wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to just kill myself because now it's time to blow up the planet. No, they're like, no, we plan on not only wiping out Xandar, not only wiping out this planet, we plan on wiping out more planets down the line. Why are we suicide bombing? Like, it's one of the stupidest parts of the movie. And then you have them come down and shoot them from below, which would cause just as much debris and maybe even more widespread debris, because
Yeah.
now you have smaller pieces going in so many different
Yeah.
spots.
that I
And
didn't
it's
like
like-
that, where they're just shooting up at them. So
Oh, man.
basically, you're just exploding one object, making multiple objects, and they're still falling at the planet.
Yeah.
I guess they're smaller
They're
objects.
smaller objects,
know.
but it's going to cause just as much damage and possibly even more widespread damage, because it won't be one centralized ship hitting something. It will be. there's a lot of problems I have with the final fight.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I just wanted to bring that one up before we ended this one.
Yeah. All right. So,
But
you got-
again, not a bad movie.
no, definitely not.
But
I
one
like
of
this movie.
one of the least rewatchable of the ones we've watched so far.
Every mo-
except Incredible Hulk, which I don't even hate the Incredible Hulk, but
Every movie we watched so far, we like.
yeah. I don't think we've said this movie is bad once. We were tiptoeing the line with the Hulk, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, no, it's not bad.
No.
But yeah, so
Anything else?
that was the last thing I had to say. You got anything?
No, not really. So that's gonna be it for the Guardians of the Galaxy review. Come back next week for Age of Ultron. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all those things, and we will see you in the
Age of
next one.
Ultron.